Level 1, the recruit. You're 19. This wasn't an accident. You tried getting in more than once. The first time, you didn't make the physical cut. The second time, you fell short again. The third time, you scraped through. Then the letter comes. From the Los Angeles Police Department, report to the Academy, Monday, 0500 hours. No options, no extensions. The Academy sits inside an old warehouse on the far edge of the city. 40 recruits show up on day 1. By the second week, 8 are already gone, not dismissed. They walked away. You quickly understand why. Your days start before sunrise and end long after it sets. 6 miles before breakfast, push-ups until your arms feel like they don't belong to you anymore. Then comes the classroom. Law, procedure, use of force. Your instructor, Sergeant Gaza, has a habit of appearing behind you without warning. He never raises his voice. That's what makes it worse. He just stands there, quiet, waiting, until your hands stop shaking. One morning, a recruit named Whitfield speaks up during drills. Nothing big, just 3 words. "That's not fair!" Gaza doesn't react. He simply says, "Drop." Whitfield drops. Everyone else drops with him. Whitfield is gone before the weekends. After that, nobody talks back. Not for the next 6 weeks. You start to understand what silence takes from you and what it protects. By graduation day, only 23 remain. They hand you your badge. It feels heavier than you imagined.
Level 2, Patrol Officer. You're 21, 2 years on patrol. This is the minimum before SWAT will even consider you. Your beat is East Compton, mostly night shifts. You ride with a veteran named Morales, 15 years on the job. He eats cold burritos at 3 a.m. and never seems in a hurry. One night you ask him why he moves so slow when a call comes in. Because the ones who run to every call, he says, either burn out or get hurt. Pace yourself, or the job will wear you down. You respond to a domestic call at an apartment off Wilmington Avenue, 3rd floor. You knock. The door opens just a few inches, chain still locked. A woman looks through the gap, one eye swollen shut. She tells you everything is fine. You write the report exactly how it happened. You document the injury. You document her statement. The report goes nowhere. 2 months later, you're back at the same address. Same call, same silence. That's when you realize something. The law and justice don't always move together. Sometimes they cross, sometimes they don't. At the end of your second year, you submit your SWAT application. Morales signs your recommendation without you asking. You'll do fine, he says. You don't panic. And in this job, that matters more than anything. Level 3, SWAT candidate. You're 23 years old. The selection lasts 5 days. They call it assessment week. By the 3rd day, you've already given it a different name. It starts at 4:30 a.m., still dark. Timed obstacle course before the sun even rises. No warm-up, no second chances. After that, shooting qualification. 80 rounds, moving targets, low light conditions. Your hands are still shaking from the run. Then comes the written psychological test, followed by a panel interview. 4 veteran operators. They ask questions that don't have clear answers. You breach a room. Your partner gets hit. The suspect is still armed. You have 2 seconds to decide. They don't just listen to your answer. They watch your eyes. Day 4. A simulated hostage scenario inside an abandoned school building. Your team must extract a civilian while a role player acts as an unstable armed suspect. Everything starts falling apart. The civilian is screaming. Lights suddenly shut off. Radio comms fail. Chaos. After it's over, a senior operator pulls you aside for a one-on-one debrief. He tells you that you paused at the doorway. Why? You tell him honestly. You weren't sure your partner had a clear shot. He writes something down, says nothing. Out of 62 candidates, only 11 are chosen. Your name is called. You don't celebrate, because after this week, you realize something. This was probably the easy part. Level 4, the operator. Probationary. You're 24, 18 months into probation. You're on the team, but not really part of it yet. Not fully. SWAT in Los Angeles. The Metropolitan Division. D Platoon doesn't look like the movies. There are no slow-motion breaches, no dramatic one-liners. Just repetition. Endless repetition. You run the same entry drill again and again and again. 400 times. Until your hands move before your brain even catches up. You train in empty office buildings, parking garages, shipping containers turned into fake apartments. Close quarters drills with Sergeant Reyes, former Army Ranger. Calm. Quiet. The kind of guy who doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. Your first real call-out comes fast. Barricade situation. Man with a rifle. Motel room in Venice. You're placed on the east corner. You wait. 1 hour. 2 hours. 4 hours. The negotiator talks him out. No shots fired. Some of the newer guys look disappointed. You don't. During selection, Holly told you, a SWAT call where nothing happens is a perfect call. Now you finally understand. By month 14, the eyes on you start to fade. You're trusted a little more. By month 18, probation ends. No ceremony, no speech. Reyes just gives you a small nod across the briefing room. That's all you need. Level 5. Full operator. You're 26. You're now a fully qualified SWAT operator. You've responded to 31 callouts. You've discharged your weapon twice in real situations. The job isn't what TV promised. Between deployments, there are endless hours of training. Rope fast ropes from rooftops. Explosive breach certifications. Hostage rescue drills. Underwater search operations. Night vision missions. Medical training. Tourniquets. Chest seals. Needle decompression. You don't just learn them. You live them. Then a call comes in. Boyle Heights. Active shooter. Elementary school. 11:14 a.m. You're already in the truck before the briefing finishes. Your team enters through a side door in under 90 seconds. The building is mostly evacuated. The suspect is barricaded inside a storage room near the gym. You hold the hallway. Negotiators work for 40 minutes. Then the door opens. Hands first. Later, during debrief, nobody talks about fear. That's not how this works. You discuss angles, communication gaps, stack order, what went right, what needs fixing. On the drive back, your partner Torres says, "Good work." That's it. You realize the real weight of the job isn't always during the call-outs. It's the quiet nights afterward, when your mind replays the hallway, and the seconds start to feel different. Level 6. Sniper. You're 29. One day you're told you've been selected for sniper training. Not everyone gets the opportunity. You don't ask questions. You just nod. The course lasts 8 weeks. It's held at a remote training facility in the Mojave Desert. Everything is deliberate, slow, exact, and humbling. The first 2 weeks you barely fire a shot. Instead, you learn to stay still. Hold your position in the heat. Don't move. Don't cough. Don't shift your weight. Because the first skill of a sniper is patience. Your spotter is Quan. She's been on the team for 12 years. Calm, controlled, and always one step ahead. She speaks in short, quiet phrases. Over time, you learn to understand what she means before she finishes. The rules for taking a shot are strict. Imminent danger, no other option, positive identification. You don't just memorize them. You carry them with you. Every training scenario ends the same way. A decision. Sometimes you take the shot. Sometimes you don't. Afterward, you sit in a room and explain every step, every thought, every choice. And the instructors pick it apart, looking for anything you missed. Your first real deployment comes during a kidnapping case in Encino. You're placed on a rooftop across from a warehouse. Hours pass. 6, then 7. No movement, no shots. Eventually, the suspect releases the hostage. You pack up your rifle, climb down the ladder. Quan looks at you and simply says, "Good day." And for the first time, you understand exactly what that means. Level 7. Team Leader. You're 33. 6 operators now look to you for direction. That changes everything. Before, you only depended on your own training. Now, you depend on theirs, and it's your job to shape it. You lead the morning drills. You go through qualification scores. You study each operator's strengths, and more importantly, their weaknesses. There's a newer operator, Paxton. Technically strong, excellent shooter, but during scenario training, he makes decisions quickly, too quickly. He moves before he has the full picture. After one drill, you pull him aside. Speed has value, you tell him, but precision matters more. The two aren't the same. He nods. Over the next 4 months, you watch him slow down, just enough. Your first major call as team leader comes soon after. A bank robbery turns into a hostage situation in downtown Los Angeles. 3 armed suspects, 11 hostages, 17 possible entry points. Command gives you 20 minutes to prepare a plan. You use 18. The operation itself lasts 4 minutes. All 11 hostages walk out safely. 2 suspects surrender. The third escapes through a service exit, but is caught 2 blocks away. Later, in the after-action report, you list your team. Every name, every position, every decision made under pressure. Command asks why you didn't take credit for calling the breach. You tell them, because you made 2 mistakes inside, and your team covered both. That's what you want written in the report. Level 8, the negotiator. You're 37. They send you to crisis negotiation training with the FBI in Quantico, Virginia. 2 weeks, 14 days. You expected to learn tactics, positioning, timing, pressure. Instead, it feels more like a lesson in human behavior. The lead instructor is a former hostage negotiator named Brandt. He spent over a decade handling international kidnappings before returning to the U.S. He starts the first session with a simple question. What does someone in crisis want more than anything? People around the room answer quickly. To be heard, to be safe, to get out alive, to survive. Brandt slowly shakes his head. They want to matter, he says. Everything else, you can work with. That sentence stays with you long after training ends. Back in the field, your role begins to change. You're still part of operations, but now you're also the voice. The one they call when the situation slows down, when confusion takes over, when force isn't the answer. One Tuesday in February, a call comes in. A man named Gerald has barricaded himself inside his Silver Lake apartment. He has a firearm. His wife left recently. He just lost his job. When you get him on the phone, he tells you there's no point in coming out. You stay on the line. You don't make promises. You don't threaten. You don't rush. You ask questions. And more importantly, you listen. Not just to his words, but to the silence between them. 3 hours pass. At 11:52 p.m., the door finally opens. Gerald walks outside, sits on the front step, and buries his face in his hands. He starts to cry. You sit down beside him on the cold concrete and say nothing. Some victories never make headlines. Those are usually the ones that take the most out of you. Level 9, the commander. You're 43. You're no longer on the front line. You're running the entire unit now. 41 operators, support staff, equipment, budget, and every decision, good or bad, carries your name. The work is quieter now, almost invisible. You don't kick doors anymore. You approve training requests. You read after-action reports late at night. You sit in meetings with department leadership and city officials who want SWAT ready for everything and responsible for anything that goes wrong. Then a major call-out in Hollywood takes a turn. Not a disaster, but not clean either. During a breach, a suspect is shot. The shooting follows protocol. The operator does exactly what they were trained to do. But a bystander records 15 seconds on a phone. No context, no build-up, just noise, shouting, and a gunshot. Within an hour, it's everywhere. You step up to the podium that afternoon. Calm, measured, direct. You don't call it unfortunate. You don't say everything worked as intended. You say a man was shot. You say the family deserves answers. You say the community deserves transparency. And you promise a full review. Afterward, your supervisor pulls you aside. He says you were too blunt. You respond that you were accurate. Weeks later, the investigation clears the operator completely. Full footage shows a very different story than the short clip. But trust, once shaken, doesn't return quickly. It takes 2 years before things start to stabilize again. And during those 2 years, you learn something. The hardest part of the job isn't the call-outs anymore. It's what comes after them. Now, everything you do is public. Every memo, every approval, every decision. You stopped seeing accountability as a burden long ago. Now you see it as the thing that keeps the unit grounded and prevents it from becoming something it was never meant to be. Level 10. The final stop. You're 51. Sitting in a folding chair inside a gym in Inglewood. It's your retirement ceremony. Speeches echo off the walls. Colleagues who've shared decades with you sit around, alongside some younger faces who've barely seen a fraction of your time in the field. Someone reads a list. High-risk missions, hostage recoveries, barricade standoffs, lives kept safe. The numbers are precise, impressive, but still incomplete. They don't cover the nights nobody noticed, the quiet doors you opened, the dangers averted without fanfare. Sergeant Reyes stands at the back. He retired 8 years ago. He drove 3 hours just to be here. He doesn't speak much. One handshake, one nod. That gesture outweighs every speech in the room. Later, you drive home alone. Thoughts drift. Whitfield, who left in week 2. Did he find what he was looking for? Gerald, sitting on his porch in Silver Lake that icy night. You never heard what became of him, but you hope it ended better than it began. Estrada, the operator you cleared in the Hollywood shooting, walked into your office 2 days later, asking if she'd done right. You told her she followed her training, and her instincts were correct. That's as close to certainty as this line of work ever gets. Deloqua pops into your mind, scarfing cold tamales at 3 a.m., telling you to pace yourself. You didn't always manage that, but you tried. The house is quiet. You sit in the dark, reflecting on 32 years spent learning when to rush and when to hold back, when to speak and when to remain silent, when action matters and when restraint is action itself. No one said the job would conclude this way, so quietly. But now you understand. Quiet was the point all along. You never needed applause to know the work mattered.